Hi, I'm Mark Lund, author of The Effective Investor, and today we're going to talk about rebalancing, what it is and why it matters. Now, when you first set up your investment portfolio, there was a specific asset allocation you had in mind. Your assets were fractionally allocated across different asset classes, and you did this in a way that suited your risk tolerance. But over time, without rebalancing, those percentages will change due to some asset classes outperforming others in a given year. As a result, the asset allocation will stray from the targets you once set. So for example, let's say you had two asset categories you wanted to invest in, and you wanted to do 50-50 in each of these categories. If one asset category does poorly and the other does well during a given year, that 50-50 balance may approach a 60-40. You now have a greater percentage of your invested assets than you initially wanted in the wrong category. Now, you may be thinking, if that asset category is doing well, what's the problem? The problem is that you are drifting away from the guideposts you started investing with. If more and more of your assets end up in one investment class, your portfolio becomes less and less diverse and more heavily weighted in one asset category. So your risk exposure may increase, or conversely, your portfolio assets may not be poised to earn a large enough return to meet your goals. So 5 words really sum it up: buy low and sell high. This is a term most people have heard of. In the rebalancing process, this is a systematic way to actually accomplish this goal. Some of the assets within an overachieving investment category are sold off when they're high, and a bit more of the assets in an underachieving investment category are bought in order to regain the original asset allocation. So why is this so hard? Well, you're buying something that's down. Most people have a hard time buying something that's down in value. That's why most brokers or financial planners don't show you those asset categories, because they know intuitively you don't want to buy them. Rebalancing is a way to systematically buy low and sell high. Now, let me finish with a visual example of how this could work in your portfolio. Let's say you have $80,000 you want to invest. You decide you want to divide it equally into 2 asset categories, 50% in one and 50% in the other. Let's say after the first year, the first asset category goes up in value by 26%, and your second asset category goes down by 18%. Now let's say you do nothing to your portfolio at this time, and the second year, the first asset category goes down by 8%, and your second category goes up by 25%. At the end of the second year, your portfolio is worth over $87,000. So you might be thinking everything's okay because your account is up in value, right? Well, let's take the same example and do a rebalance halfway through. So we start with the same. You have $80,000 to invest, and you decide you want to divide it equally into 2 asset categories, 50% in one and 50% in the other. And the same thing happens after the first year. The first asset category goes up in value by 26%, and your second asset category goes down by 18%. Now, before we left it alone, this time we'll do a rebalance. That means we'll sell off some of the asset category that performed well and buy some of the asset category that did not do so well. This now brings your total allocations back to the original guidepost you started with, where you wanted 50-50 in each asset category. Now we continue, and the same thing happens. The second year, the first asset category goes down by 8%, and your second category goes up by 25%. This time your account value at the end of the second year is worth over $90,000. The only thing you changed was that you rebalanced your portfolio during this 2-year period. Now keep in mind a few things here. Rebalancing does not guarantee you an increase in portfolio value. This is just a systematic way to take the emotion out of investing to help you to buy low and sell high. Also, to keep this simple, I just used an example of rebalancing once in a 2-year time period. We review client accounts quarterly for opportunities to rebalance. I also just used an example of 2 asset categories. Our portfolios have 19 asset categories. Well, if you ever have any questions about your portfolio, please feel free to call me anytime. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.